Bueno, nosotros como bar no hemos creado ninguna técnica, en realidad nos hemos arraigado mucho a cómo ha evolucionado la cocina, ¿no? Cuando se nos ocurre alguna idea, tratamos de igual tener ideas con sentido, ¿no? Tener ideas con mucha lógica, que nos sirvan, que sea utilitario. Tenemos una idea, la ejecutamos, a continuación la probamos nosotros mismos, llega y realmente tenemos que ver que sea funcional, ¿no? Porque si no es funcional, si puede causar un accidente, si puede pasar algo que pueda terminar una experiencia buena, la dejamos de lado. Pero en general nos damos cuenta con una prueba y error de nosotros mismos, ¿no?
Sin embargo, todo ese trabajo también conlleva una inversión de tiempo.
Be curious enough to find the answers, ask the questions, don't accept the truths, and then give yourself the grace that if you don't have the time or you don't have the resources to do it the way you wish you could have done it, and don't compare yourself to others. If you're working service, your constant concern is service. And when we had a bar, we had less time to work on these questions for that very reason. So it would work in short spurts where we were developing things. We were constantly engaging in questions on our own, but in terms of highly productive producing new work, it tended to happen in spurts because we were more worried about whether the toilet was working or whether the deliveries were coming on time. There's so much minutia that prevents you from doing it.
But at the same time, the concept and the creativity giving us the opportunity for improve the performance on table for the customer. And I think there's a balance between these two words. No, if we're talking about ice, of course, at the beginning we're carving one of each one, and now we can carving a lot of them in a less time because we have an ice program very strong. Now our bar industry is changing. The people focus now on process, little details. It make our work improve and better. And I think if it is for less our process, for gain more time, for spend with the customer, because we are still in being bartender, and what we do is talking with people.
There are kind of two different things going on, right? You can know why something works, and that can be helpful, whether or not you're developing new techniques. And it doesn't take extra time in the moment. But like researching, that takes time. Like creating new techniques, coming up with new recipes, this takes time. Are you thinking about the freaking ice with the carbonated drinks? Are you thinking about that? Because that is the biggest serve argument we've ever had. I lost. You can talk about it. I'm not even gonna bring it up. It's too much.
It's not that big of a deal.
To me, it is. We served all of our carbonated drinks in Booker and Dax in flutes, right? The reason being, a flute, even though a flute for champagne can be overly aggressive on the nose, and so it's been shown by champagne scientists that actually, unless you're gonna let it sit around for a long time, the most enjoyable way to drink champagne is out of an AP or a coupe glass because of the way that the volatiles are organized. But from a technical perspective, the best way to serve a carbonated drink is in a flute in terms of keeping the bubbles alive. So that's how I did it.
Only when it comes to keeping the bubbles alive. If your priority is maximum bubbles, that is the way you should do it. If your goal is to sell drinks to customers who expect a certain thing, I'm happy to serve all of Dave's drinks that are carbonated in a flute. For the purpose of a bar, when we are serving guests, I tried to sell the cocktail to the guests.
So we line up all these carbonated drinks in Collins glasses with ice and in flutes, chilled with liquid nitrogen, perfect serve, delicious. And then we asked people, and so they felt a little sheepish. They're like, well, yes, the drink is technically better, but I'm enjoying drinking it off of in the Collins glass with the rocks. I just walked out.
There's certain things that are quantifiable and there's certain things that are qualitative, right? Yeah. So if you are quantitatively asking, just from a numbers perspective of things that we can count, is there more carbonation to put a carbonated drink in a flute with no ice, drink it as quickly as possible? There's a certain right way to handle this carbonated drink, right? That is one way of approaching it. Then there's what is gonna bring me happiness? What is gonna make me feel comfortable? What's gonna bring me joy? What's gonna make me want to order another one of these? But just what am I used to?
Just know, if I watch you not drinking that glass, and I see the bubbles going, and I see it diluting, and I see those ice cubes getting small, and your drink turning to garbage, and then only then do you taste the drink, you have hurt me deeply inside.
Para nosotros creo que no se deberían mencionar las técnicas utilizadas para la preparación de los cócteles ni de los platos. Creo que confundimos un poco más al cliente. Creo que hay clientes que necesitan esa información y nos la van a preguntar, pero siento que el cóctel y el plato tienen que transmitir algo importante hacia las personas, tienen que sorprenderlas y no es necesario llenar de palabras ni de muchos tecnicismos los menús. Para nosotros es una carta mucho más limpia, ¿no?
Cuando reconozcamos a aquellas personas que buscan mucho más información, mucho más tecnicismo, nosotros estaremos súper contentos de compartir todos los caminos para haber llegado al producto final. Sin embargo, saturar de información, como lo menciona Gaby, al cliente probablemente resulte algo muy, muy contundente que no siempre del todo es, digamos, entendido o escuchado.
Nos interesa mucho más que la gente pueda conocer el Perú a través de nuestra coctelería, más que involucrarnos en los tecnicismos, ¿no?
When I design vessel with a Peruvian artist, I try to think in how it could be a fantasy or a performance. For example, our famous cocktail Carnival, El Campari. The presentation of the cocktail is the most fabulous in our bar, like a big lamp. Probably this is part of the success of this cocktail. We sell a lot. The presentation of the cocktail is one of the key of Carnival and the performance on table.
Desde que abrimos Lady B decidimos no tener vajilla que no sea transparente, porque nosotros queríamos que la gente se sorprenda cuando tome líquido más que se sorprenda por lo que vea por fuera, ¿no? Pero la estética es bastante importante, ¿no? Creo que es la cereza del pastel para todo el trabajo que se vino realizando en la temporada.
I have always spent not enough of my energy at that last second. You know what I mean? So like you can ruin all of your good work by not doing a good serve. The most important point of getting the temperature on a serve is also about getting the taste of it when its temperature is not ideal. So we always had the 15-minute test. We're like, oh, this is great. Put it on the bar, don't touch it. Let's taste it in 15 minutes. If it still is good, and if it's turned to crap, it means that drink wasn't temperature insensitive enough.
There are many, rungs on this ladder, and you can exist in this spectrum. It's also, to a large degree, understanding yourself. And you need to figure out what is interesting to you and pursue the things that are interesting to you. Because no matter how fancy the techniques are, if you're not interested in them, you're not going to produce something interesting from them. And so follow your interest, and whatever that interest may be, whether it's a technique, new or old, whether it is no techniques, whatever it might be, don't compare yourself to others. Just be content in finding your interest and satisfying your own curiosity.